As a trained marketer, do you think you operate differently as a sales director compared to a traditional sales director?
Oh, it's an interesting thought. What is a traditional sales director? And I was listening to one of the podcasts recently, and they were talking about the traditional sales director is changing. And I think that's very true. When I started my career, they were probably a bit more loud, gregarious, the sort of people person would fill a room. And nowadays, I think customers are far more analytical, far more strategic, and they expect their senior salespeople that are calling on them to help them really deliver business growth. And so I think sales directors are changing. They are becoming more strategic. They are becoming much more longer term. And when I say becoming, so I'm talking on average, many of them today are massively strategic thinkers. And so I think the differences 20 or 30 years ago were probably more marked. And if you were looking at great marketing directors, great sales directors today, I think they would be much closer in many areas.
Which brings us back to the point before that more people should make the move between the two, because there's more alignment of some of the core capabilities, to taking aside the technical skills than ever before. Yeah.
And I think that, so some of the differences is in marketing, you're working on these projects that are further away. In sales, you're really part of that day-to-day running of the business. And so you do get much more, you move from in marketing, I'd say, an awareness or an exposure. In sales, you're partnering with the supply chain. You're very aware of any challenges they might be having. You're working with customers. These retailers are looking at the weekly sales. They're in there 6 o'clock on a Monday morning. They're taking apart what's just happened over the weekend. Everything is at a much faster cadence. And that is really important, particularly if you want to go on and not just become a chief marketing officer, but if you want to become a managing director, a CEO, those type of things. The sorts of skills, exposure, and the way you work in sales is very different. And it brings so much more to your own skill set as you look at those senior roles.
Yeah, great.